Hey, welcome to Moonstavern. We're going to do a little different segment here. We're going to do Tavern Talks. I got my beautiful wife over here. She's got me in the hot seat.
Hello.
Since it is Veterans Day, and hopefully we'll get this video out by today, wanted to talk about, some of the stuff with me being in the military, some of my experiences and all of that. So first off, what we're going to do, since this is going to be a whiskey barbecue channel, you're going to see some cooking and all that kind of good stuff here pretty soon. So if you like that type of content, man, like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff so we can keep bringing it to you. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit different than doing a whole bunch of whiskey reviews. We'll do that from time to time, but I think we're going to go into a different direction. So the first thing that, that I think that we have to do is pour something, right? So one of the main drinks that I did, because I was military, I was in the Army, and I was poor, and I welcome you to, do this with me, grab your cheapest military special bottom shelf brand that you love and go from there. For me, I always wanted to drink Jack Daniels, but I couldn't afford Jack Daniels, so we always got into some Evan Williams. So we're going to pour a little bit of Evan Williams so I can be as good as I can be for my wife's questions. Don't know how that's going to go, but we're going to do our best and try. All right, fire away, my lovely wife.
You ready?
We are ready. We got the dogs barking, so this is real. Let's get after it.
All right. So you were in the Army, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So obviously you start out with basic training.
Basic training.
Right. So where did you go for basic training?
So basic training was at Fort McClellan, Alabama. I was an MP. So everybody goes there, and sometimes the military, they'll have two sets where you'll have your basic training and then you go into your AIT. With MP, you do everything all at one place. So you have the same drill sergeants the whole entire time, which that could be really good, but it could be really bad if you got a bad one. It makes life hell for that period of time that you're doing it. So
okay, here comes Drakey. So thinking back at basic training,
okay.
What is like a top story that immediately pops into your head when you think about basic training?
Of course, what's funny about this is that this is probably the story that I always tell. When my son was going into basic training, and he was like, Dad, what are some of the funniest stories that you had at basic training? And one of the ones that I'll say is that it was the very beginning of basic. What they had us do you sat in this room. It was Drill Sergeant Gordon and anybody else that went to Fort McClellan, Bravo 795 MP Company, just in case if you were wondering. So if you are that,
Yeah, reach out, get in touch.
So anyways, so we were all sitting in this room, and they do crap on purpose to kind of screw with you, right? So they're giving this briefing. Drill Sergeant Gordon's up there giving this briefing, and of course they have us Indian style, crisscross applesauce, however you want to say, your legs are crossed. And he's talking, and it's the most boringest crap that you've ever heard in your entire life. And I think they do like that on purpose, just to make it where you are paying attention, right? Because everything's attention to detail in the military. At least they try to make it that way. So when he's giving this brief, one, your legs are completely falling asleep. And they would do stuff where they would screw with you, where maybe the lieutenant or the commander would come in. So you'd have to pop up to attention. And of course, anyone that knows, or if you have ever sat Indian style or crisscross applesauce for a long time, your legs fall asleep. You can't get up. So they would come in, and then all of a sudden you pop up, and everyone's falling over like dominoes the whole entire time because you can't.
Legs.
Yeah, because you got dead legs. You can't do nothing. So the funny thing is that they would do that for a while, but then they would have stints of 30 to 40 minutes to where you're just sitting there, right? So we're sitting there, and I can just tell Drill Sergeant's is looking for someone that has fallen asleep, because all he does is just scanned the whole entire time that he's talking. Well, he found his guy. The guy was sleeping. And the military, let me back up a little bit. When you first come into the military, they do stuff to you where, like, once you get there, they'll use terms that you have no freaking clue what they're talking about. So, like, if you're doing something wrong, they'll tell you to, like, beat your face. Well, you'll still see people, they'll come in and they do something wrong, and the drill sergeant yelling at, beat your face. And he's just like, I don't know what you want me to do, but he doesn't say anything. So then you'll see some kids actually start beating their face. He's like, no, you idiot, I'm not telling you to beat your face. Do push-ups. Well, of course, they do that on purpose just to make you feel stupid, because, it's a breaking down and then they build you back up. But anyway, give that term in there. So Drill Sergeant Gordon found his guy. He was sleeping. And so he comes up, he starts yelling at him, and he tells him to stand to the position of attention. So he jumps up, stands in the position of attention. So then Drill Sergeant Gordon told him, he goes, well, you need to ride the Harley. Ride the Harley. And the private's is looking around like, there's no Harleys in here. And he's like, no, ride the Harley. He's like, are you dumb or something? Ride the Harley. And of course, this private doesn't know what the frick riding the Harley is. Basically what it is you put your hands up like you got, your handlebars, you're holding that up. And by the way, your own body weight, when you're holding stuff up for a long time, it gets heavy after a while. Mm-hmm. But you're on your tippy toes or the ball of your feet the whole entire time. So you're standing like you're riding a Harley. So this dude is doing this, and I swear he had to have been doing it for 40 to 45 minutes.
Good grief, that's a long time.
Constantly. Well, the dude was asleep, so, and of course, he's dropping his hands. God dang it, Private, put your hands back up. You better ride that Harley. You better not crash my Harley. So he's whole time doing that, holding it up. And then after about 45 minutes, we're just watching him and listening to the drill sergeant and all that. And then all of a sudden, at the corner of my eye, I see the private, and he turns, and then he waves. And drill sergeant looked at him and goes, what the hell are you doing? Why did you break the position of the Harley? And he's like, well, drill sergeant, I saw some of my friends on the corner, so I figured I'd take a turn and wave at them. So that's one of the dumbass stories that we have. And
did he get in more trouble for doing that?
Yeah. Well, then he learned how to do a rock formation, and that's where you have rocks on the CTA, on the company training area. And what they'll do is they'll have you run down, grab one rock at a time. So you have to run down the steps, grab one rock, and then you run back up, and then you have to put everything in the formation just like if it was your platoon. And depending on how much trouble you got, we had 4 platoons in our company. So depending on how many, how much trouble you got into, you may only do your platoon, or you might do all 4 platoons, and it has to be every single person. But anyway, that's a whole nother.
All right, so after basic training, you went to Korea for a year, correct?
Went to Korea, yep. I was at Camp Humphreys, and then actually went to Camp Long and Eagle as well.
So, then after that...
But just as a regular MP.
Right, as a regular MP. So then sometime after that, that's when you went to K-9 training.
Yep, so I went to Lackland Air Force Base, that was in San Antonio, Texas, went to K-9 training there.
And that's what you really loved doing, was working those dogs.
Love dog training and all that kind of good stuff.
All right. So tell me something about that. Because obviously working dogs are going to be way different than pets.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll tell you the first day that I met my military working dog, which is funny, and I'm not making this up at all. Anyone that was in the military working dog arena back when I was, they know this dog by name because he actually went to Doc Hilliard, who is kind of like the psychologist, the behaviorist there. But the dog's name was Taint. So what's funny is, so you go into Lackland, you go into these kennels, right? So as you're going to these kennels, it's just like this gauntlet of dogs just left and right to you. So you're sitting there, well, you're not sitting there, you're standing there, and I was with some of my instructors, which was Sergeant Massey, Sergeant Irizarry, and they were like, all right, guys, your dog is this, your dog is this, your dog is this. And of course, we knew that information before we went to the kennels, but they're just kind of guiding you to where you're at. All right, Moon, you just hold up for a second, all right? So everybody's getting their dogs. Everybody has left the kennel. It's
sure
just
the dogs are all wild and crazy and barking.
Oh yeah, they're in the kennel. They're all hyped up. They see people. They see dogs. They're just animated. They're ready to go. So what happened was that we I had to wait for everybody to get out into the training area, and everybody's just, you're not doing any training. All this is just a walk. You're just walking your dogs to get to know them and all that kind of good stuff. So after everybody's, and I remember Sarn Irizarry was with me, and he talks to Sarn Mass. He's like, "Hey, is everybody out?" He's like, "Yeah, everybody's out." I'm like, "All right, cool." He's like, "All right, Moon, come with me. Let me go show you your dog." So we walk up to the kennel or whatever like that.
Were you ever wondering why
Yeah,
you were getting
I
held
didn't
back?
know. I didn't know. I mean, and at that time, I mean, I was a pretty buff dude. Maybe I'll slide a video of, or not a picture of when I was in the
Insert
military.
picture here.
Right. So I think that maybe that we'll talk about that afterwards. So I go to the kennel. I look at the kennel door, and it says "Caution may bite" or "Caution will bite." I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all these dogs are dual purpose. So which dual purpose means is that they can bite and they can sniff either explosives or narcotics. And I'm like, why does my kennel have "Caution may bite"? I don't understand that.
And none of the others
And
did.
none of the others did. So Sarnir Zara came up and he's like, "All right, Moon, this is your dog, man. Just go in there and get him or whatever." And I'm like, "Hold on, Sarn, I got a question." He's like, "Well, what's up?" I said, "Why does my dog's kennel have "Caution will bite"? I said, "Don't all these jokers bite?" I mean, and he started giggling. He goes, "Man, don't even worry about that sign, man. We just put that up there sometimes just to what." I mean, he was fluffing it off because he didn't want me to be scared to go in there and get the dog. So as he's going to the kennel, or as he's talking to me, he's like, "See, man, it ain't no big deal. You can go into the kennel." So he opens the door. He sticks his butt in real quick, and then he comes right back out real fast. And I'm like, "Well, hold up, sorry, you ain't even going to the kennel." He's like, "Moon, it's fine. Just go in there and get him and grab him and go." I'm like, "All right." So come to find out, well, I go in there and I get him. I hook him up or whatever like that. I walk him out. Everything's cool and fine and all of that. I start walking him around, and Taint was a good dog to the point where he didn't try to like eat me up or nothing that day.
Not that day.
Yeah, not that day. Something was definitely not right about that dog. But yeah, no, Taint was he was an awesome patrol dog and a narcotic dog. He didn't like to out too well, but he didn't like to let go of the bite.
Right, and out means to let go of. Okay.
But other than that, he did all right.
So after you did all your canine training, you then got stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia,
Yep.
correct?
Went to Fort Benning, Georgia, was canine there. And of course, it's not like the way the military is now, because the way the military is now, canine is its own MOS, which means that canine is your only job, where I was an MP first, and then I had the school of canine, so I could go either way. I could either go regular MP or canine.
All right. And then, of course, that's when you and I eloped, and I moved down there with you.
Yep.
And so then we got...
Just wanted to come back in, different angle, all that kind of good stuff. The video got kind of messed up, but want to thank the veterans families. All of y'all deserve this credit on everything, because it takes a family to definitely, go through all the crap that the families go through as being a veteran. Appreciate your sacrifice, your selflessness, the love for your country. You signed the dotted line, didn't know what was going to happen or what you were going to be asked to do, but you did it anyway. I love the veterans, man. Cheers. Hey, man, I hope your pores are strong and your memories are vivid enough that you remember them. Cheers.